Shabbat Shalom, Good Yontif. As I sat in the bleachers at Summer Stage this past Monday, on October 7th, my heart was heavy and my mind was racing. I was there for the UJA organized event to commemorate last year's tragedy, sitting alongside some PAS clergy and some fellow congregants, trying, as we all have been, to make sense out of the senseless. Knowing that I was due to speak with you today, I started thinking about Rabbi Cosgrove's Rosh Hashanah sermon. He taught us that much of Jewish history has been a series of trials and tests, and his hope that has sustained us throughout. I was also thinking about Rabbi Zuckerman's powerful words. He reflected on the bravery that is hardwired in the DNA of the Jewish people and what it means to be courageous, especially during times that, on the surface, test your resolve. And I was thinking about the power of this moment. My name, as the rabbi said, is Bryce Markus, and while I might not be as engaging, and I am definitely not as well dressed as my better half, I am the proud first husband of Park Avenue Synagogue. I am up here this morning to take us beyond PAS for a few minutes to talk about the importance of UJA to our community. I've been involved from UJA with more than 2 decades. Over my years of engagement, I've often heard some say that UJA is your grandparents' philanthropy, a legacy organization too bureaucratic to act nimbly or innovate. I've felt the opposite. In 2019, in the aftermath of the Tree of Life Synagogue massacre in Pittsburgh and growing attacks on visibly Jewish people in Brooklyn, UJA, along with local partners, conceived and created the Community Security Initiative. This has played an indispensable role in helping to protect the New York Jewish community in today's tumultuous times. During the pandemic, when JCCs, senior centers, and other social service providers were reeling, UJA provided substantial financial support and helped them to survive. To this day, these organizations remain critical to meeting the everyday needs of everyday New Yorkers. When Russia invaded Ukraine, UJA allocated emergency funding for critical humanitarian aid and evacuation assistance. They made Aliyah possible for tens of thousands. Which brings us to today and the ongoing war in Israel. UJA was there on October 7th with an immediate $10 million emergency grant from its endowment, the first significant overseas philanthropic dollars to reach Israel. Since the onset of the war, UJA has allocated a staggering $134 million to address every imaginable need, from ensuring the well-being of hostages' families, strengthening and rebuilding devastated and displaced communities, funding specialized mental health care for victims of sexual violence, bereaved families, and survivors of the Nova Festival, and so much more. UJA knew what to do and how to do it because the roadmap was already in place. And it's worth highlighting that UJA had a strong network of partners on the ground before day one of the war, before a single emergency dollar was raised or allocated, because of years and years of funding made possible through its annual campaign. That's the power of an annual gift. Bringing it back home, anti-Semitism has skyrocketed, and UJA has been fighting back, helping provide security services, supporting our students on campus, and working to confront anti-Jewish and anti-Israel hatred wherever it rears its ugly head. Last year, UJA was in full-blown acute crisis and emergency mode. This year, UJA has set out its new priorities, mobilizing to meet the ongoing needs in Israel to restore the nation and its people, physically, emotionally, financially, and continuing to be at the forefront in addressing the staggering rise of anti-Semitism. Additionally, UJA has recommitted to its long-term and abiding priorities, caring for the most vulnerable and strengthening Jewish life and connection. What does that look like? It's hosting a monthly coffee house where Holocaust survivors come together to enjoy one another's company over lunch. The real draw, though, is the live band playing the Yiddish and Jewish songs and the boisterous circle dancing. It's more than 200 people in their 20s and 30s gathered for a sold-out Young Wall Street Shabbat dinner. And the popularity of this event, it wasn't an outlier. Since October 7th, every UJA Shabbat dinner has sold out. It's over 250 people of all ages filling a room to hear from acclaimed Jewish intellectual and author Dara Horn. This past year has been a challenging one for us all, and I want to say thank you. Thank you to our UJA at PAS chairs, Erica Herman and Karen Deutsch, for leading our community. Thank you to the entire community for all your support. Each one of us opened our hearts and wallets last year. We gave generously, but there are still critical needs on many fronts. Giving is personal, I know. Last night, we heard from our chairman, Mark First, about the importance of giving to Park Avenue Synagogue. It is important. But this year, Jewish giving needs a bigger slice, maybe the biggest of our lives, because we need to show up in a major way, fighting anti-Semitism, getting Israel back to normal, to better than normal, harnessing the hunger for Jewish life and community. And we must also continue the work as usual, caring for Holocaust survivors, the isolated elderly, low-income families, people who depend on us in a big way. Every generation is called to act. Our time is now. Think of UJA as your Jewish channel to impact a range of social services, the ones that touch the Jewish community and the one that lets us Jews touch the broader world. The Jewish people have endured tremendous grief this past year. It was on full display as I sat in the bleachers on Monday night. But we have also been privileged to witness and support encouraging extraordinary acts of courage, heroism, humanity, and hope. I felt a profound sense of gratitude for that from those bleachers as well. And I feel it today, speaking with you here on one of our holiest days. I wish you all a meaningful and easy fast and a year filled with health and happiness. May we all be sealed in the book of life. Thank you, and Gamar Chatima Tova.